Having faith. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Knowledge of Elohim, Bible study, and prayer must have one common element in order to become transformative elements in our lives: faith. Without faith, these elements become mere knowledge or rituals devoid of meaning. But with faith, they are powerful elements that will take us to the highest peaks of our spiritual experience. All things are possible to him who believes. Different types of faith, faith and science. The measure of faith, faith and feelings. What is faith? Definition and development of faith. The faith of Yeshua. Different types of faith, faith and signs. Unless you people see signs and wonders, Yeshua told him, you will never believe. A sign is a distinctive mark or demonstration given to confirm an inspired message or to support divine authority. Although a sign is generally understood to be a miraculous event, like the wedding at Cana, the fact that Israel came before Mount Sinai to worship Elohim was also given as a sign. The Pharisees asked Yeshua to show them a sign of any kind that could prove that he was the Messiah, so that they could believe in him. Yeshua was exasperated when they asked for a sign to justify their lack of faith. When someone doesn't want to believe, no sign will be able to convince them. Elohim has given us sufficient evidence in his word and in nature so that whoever wishes to believe may believe. However, there is always room for doubt. That is why Yeshua gave a special blessing to those who have not seen and yet have believed. The measure of faith. He replied, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. There are different measures of faith. The faith of the apostles. Why do you have no faith? Peter's faith. You of little faith. The Father's faith. Come to the aid of my little faith. The faith of the Canaanite woman. Great is your faith. The centurion's faith. I have not found such great faith even in Israel. Stephen's faith. Men full of faith. It is clear that faith can grow as the root of unbelief are uprooted. Conviction must gradually replace doubt. Our request should be increase our faith. Through the work of the Holy Spirit, the study of the Bible, and our experience with Elohim, we'll be able to observe that your faith is growing. Faith and feelings. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of Elohim. Is faith a feeling or a rational act? The answer to this question is important. It is not the same to say I feel safe as to say I know I am safe. But let's start from the beginning. What is the origin of faith? Faith comes from Elohim and he gives it to us as a gift. When we respond positively to that gift, when we begin to exercise faith, that faith produces in us feelings such as joy, tranquility, a sense of spiritual relief. But faith itself is not a feeling, it is a certainty and conviction. It is not something that depends on our mood. When I feel weak or feel that my salvation is far away, that is when I must exercise the most faith. What is faith? Definition and development of faith. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Hebrews 11:1, 3, and 6 offer us a broad definition of faith. Faith has much to do with our concept of Elohim. It leads us to believe in him as creator and rewarder. In the rest of the chapter, Paul elaborates on the faith of many men and women who serve as an example and encouragement for us not to lose heart while we await the reward. As we've seen, we don't all have the same level of faith. How can I develop whatever faith I have, whether it's a little or a lot? Exercise faith, however small it may be. Study the Bible. Ask Elohim to increase it. Do not give in to doubt. Do not base my faith on the faith of others. responding to the Holy Spirit, to habitually practice my faith, the faith of Yeshua. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are the ones who keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yeshua. We, the faithful who live close to the return of Yeshua, are distinguished by two things that we must keep, that is, obey or preserve the commandments and the faith of Yeshua. The law, the commandments, and the gospel, faith, are intertwined. You cannot obey without having faith, nor believe without obeying. But what does the faith of Yeshua mean? Be obedient to Yeshua and His word, having a daily experience with Yeshua, making Yeshua the center of our lives, to live in accordance with our faith, to base our faith on Yeshua, reflecting Yeshua in our lives, accept the gift of His grace. By having faith in Yeshua, we are justified, sanctified, and become children of Elohim. Then trust in the Lord Yeshua to lead you step by step into the right path. You can derive assurance and strength as at every step you advance, for you can be assured that your hand is in His hand. You can run and not be weary. You can walk and not faint, for you can realize by faith that you have your hand in the hand of Messiah. You will not sink under discouragement, for as you follow on to know the Lord, trusting in Him, you will have the assurance that the one who never forsakes those who fully trust in Him is your constant helper.